The FBI says the body of a boy found this morning in Chicago is believed to be that of Jennifer Hudson's missing 7-year-old nephew. While the body has not been positively identified, the FBI believes it is Julian King. Police found the body in the rear seat of an SUV parked on a residential street. It matched the one sought in an Amber Alert issued after Hudson's mother and brother were found murdered Friday. The Oscar-winning actress's estranged brother-in-law is in custody as a person of interest in the double homicide, but has not been charged in the murders. He is not the boy's father. Police say they still do not have a motive for the killings, but the case is classified as domestic-related. Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
It was an ordinary Chicago morning in late October 2008. The kind of morning where life should have been predictable, familiar, safe. Inside a modest home on the city's south side, everything looked untouched at first glance. No signs of a struggle spilling into the street. No screams echoing through the neighborhood. But behind closed doors, something was terribly wrong. 2 lives had already ended, and one was missing. Before the city understood what happened, before the headlines, before the name attached to this tragedy shocked the world, a family was already broken.
Somebody help! Please!
Gun.
Please kill my mama! Oh my God!
I don't understand what you're saying. You gotta stop screaming.
Somebody kill my mama! Somebody kill my mama, please!
Somebody did what?
Somebody kill my mama!
Somebody killed your mother.
God, please help me! Please,
Where are you? What's the address?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Does she need an ambulance?
I don't know. I'm scared. Please, somebody, please for the ambulance. Yes.
Hold
please.
on. I'll stay on the line. Don't hang up.
Somebody,
I can help you?
please, please, please.
Where are you? What's going on?
I don't know. Like she been shot. Can you please send an ambulance, please?
What happened?
I don't know. She's on the floor. I see blood coming from her head.
Is she breathing?
I don't know. I didn't touch. I just ran up the house.
Do you know what happened? Did she fall?
No, I just got home from work, and there's a bullet. There's a bullet hole in our front door.
Is a bullet hole in your front door?
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 57 years old. Please help my mama.
All right. Are you guys in the house?
Yes, please send the ambulance.
All right.
My mama. Sorry, my mama.
The ambulance is on the way, and the police.
Yes. Okay. Please. Where's my brother at? What happened? Go to the house. Someone with my mama, and I don't know what she's in the house on the floor. And the door. I went in there because I went in the house with my mom. And she on the floor. I ain't touched her. I ain't did nothing. All I had to do was run. I don't know where Julian is or nothing. And I'm here by myself. Yes.
On October 24th, 2008, police entered the Hudson family home. Inside, they found 2 bodies, a mother and a son. Both had been shot. Darnell Donnerson was 57 years old. Jason Hudson was in his late 20s. There was no sign of forced entry, no ransacked rooms, no obvious explanation.
A horrifying shock for Oscar-winning actress Jennifer Hudson. Police in Chicago are investigating the deaths of both her mother and brother. The 2 were found shot to death Friday afternoon.
The first victim was a female found in the living room floor with a fatal gunshot wound. The second victim was a male subject found in the bedroom with a fatal gunshot wound.
Investigators say the deaths appear to be the result of domestic abuse, but they aren't elaborating.
We're looking for a 1994 white suburban vehicle that's missing from the location, as well as a 7-year-old male African-American child.
The child, police say, is the grandson of Hudson's mother. They issued the Amber Alert in the name of 7-year-old Julian King. The alert says the child was possibly abducted and accompanied by a man considered armed and dangerous.
We have some promising leads right now, but it's very preliminary right now.
According to public records, Jennifer Hudson and her mother owned the house where the bodies were discovered. Hudson grew up in Chicago. She was a finalist on the Fox series American Idol. She went on to star in and win an Oscar for the movie musical Dreamgirls, and more recently had a role in the Sex and the City movie.
But something else was immediately clear. A child was gone. 7-year-old Julian King, Darnell's grandson, was missing. Within hours, an Amber Alert spread across Chicago. His face flashed on television screens. His name echoed through radio reports. Time mattered. Every minute mattered. And yet, the house had already given up its darkest secret.
Actress and singer Jennifer Hudson has often credited her upbringing in an impoverished Chicago neighborhood for her rise to fame.
I couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock.
But now the neighborhood where her dreams took flight has been transformed into a scene of crime tape and curiosity seekers. Hudson's mother and brother were found shot to death inside their home. Hudson's 7-year-old nephew is missing.
All I ask, I don't care who you are, just let my baby go, please. Let my son go, please. That's all I ask.
Neighbors brought stuffed animals and flowers, and they reflected on the shootings.
You know, the family ain't deserved nothing like this, man. You know, they was real good people, you know. They ain't hurt nobody, never did nothing to nobody.
Her sister Julie Hudson pleaded for the return of her 7-year-old son, Julian King, who is Hudson's nephew, at the church where the film star and former American Idol contestant grew up singing.
All you can do is pray for my baby. That's all I ask. And I hope he's okay.
Published reports say a suspect is in custody, William Balfour, who's been identified as Julia Hudson's former husband. Balfour spent nearly 7 years behind bars for crimes including attempted murder and vehicular hijacking. His mother says shooting victim Darnell Donnerson, who was Hudson's mother, ordered him to move out of the home last winter.
Jennifer Hudson remained in seclusion one day after the bodies of her 57-year-old mother, Darnell Donnerson, and her older brother, 29-year-old Jason Hudson, were found in the home where she grew up. Both had been shot to death. Autopsies were being performed today. Folks living in the rough Inglewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side heard gunshots in the morning, but the murders weren't reported until afternoon, when Hudson's sister Julia got home to find her mom and brother dead and her 7-year-old son, Julian King, missing. An Amber Alert for Julian remains in effect tonight.
From what we know right now, it appears to be some type of domestic situation.
Police continue to question a man they call a person of interest. Julia's ex-husband, William Balfour, released from prison a couple of years ago after serving time for attempted murder. His MySpace page hints at his violent nature.
My son did not do this.
The tragedy comes during what has been a year of triumph for the 27-year-old, newly engaged Hudson, who parlayed a 7th-place finish on American Idol to superstardom. The single Spotlight from her debut album is currently tops on Billboard's R&B hip-hop chart. Hudson, who won an Oscar for her very first film role in the movie Dreamgirls, recently starred in the Sex and the City movie and can be seen in the new release, The Secret Life of Bees. Despite the fame, her family and her faith have remained her touchstones. She came home a couple of times a month to a place where she was still the little sister and a sweet girl proud of being from the hood.
I'm just glad to be able to come from Dunbar, from high school, that they consider the hood and show that doesn't matter where you're from, you can do whatever you want to do and anything is possible.
Pastor Willie Davis says the Hudson family were fixtures at the church just across the street from their home.
She wanted to stay where she was because it kept her attached to her surroundings and her family, and you know, that was her desire.
Some hope these deaths may serve to focus attention on Chicago's out-of-control murder rate, currently outpacing both New York and Los Angeles. 463 people have been killed so far this year. Even as her webpage fills with notes of condolence from fans around the world, Jennifer Hudson has asked for privacy during this time of grief. Her focus is her remaining family and the search for the boy she calls Lil Julian.
For 3 agonizing days, Chicago waited. Police searched neighborhoods, helicopters scanned streets, tips poured in, but Julian didn't come home. Then, on the city's west side, a parked SUV caught attention. Inside the back seat, Julian King was found.
The frantic two-day search for actress Jennifer Hudson's missing nephew ended this morning with the worst possible outcome: the discovery of an SUV missing from the crime scene with a boy's body inside.
We can confirm that the body located inside the vehicle was the body of 7-year-old Julian King.
The little boy was reported missing Friday afternoon when his mom, Julia Hudson, came home to find him gone and her mother, Darnell Donnerson, and brother, Jason Hudson, shot to death. By nightfall, Julia's estranged husband, ex-con William Balfour, was in custody, though not yet charged. But there was no sign of the boy, prompting this heartbreaking plea.
Just let my baby go, please.
Jennifer Hudson has remained in seclusion since returning to Chicago late Friday, although she did put up a $100,000 reward for the safe return of Lil Julian. The tragedy comes at a time when the Oscar-winning Dreamgirls star was living the dream.
Not only I can do it, but you can do it too.
A hit single on the music charts, a newly released movie, but she still relied heavily on her close-knit family and her faith to help stay grounded.
Faith is very important in her life, and hopefully that faith will pull her through what is an unimaginable tragedy.
Many in the inner city say these high-profile slayings will help put a face on frightening statistics. With at least 429 homicides already this year, Chicago is the nation's murder capital, ahead of both New York and Los Angeles.
For the most part, a lot of us got desensitized, which is not a good thing.
Sadly, gunshots are so common here that when they rang out Friday morning, no one bothered calling 911, and that ended up giving the killer what amounted to a 7-hour head start with his little captive, Julian King, in tow.
He had been shot multiple times. The vehicle belonged to Jason Hudson. Nearby, investigators located a firearm, a .45 caliber handgun. Ballistics would later confirm what no one wanted to hear. The same weapon tied all 3 deaths together. At that moment, the case shifted. This wasn't random violence. This wasn't a burglary gone wrong. This was personal. As details emerged, the story exploded nationally because this wasn't just any family. They were connected to one of the most recognizable voices in America, Jennifer Hudson, singer, actress, Academy Award winner. The tragedy struck at the heart of her family. Suddenly, what began as a local crime became a national obsession, and pressure mounted. Pressure to find answers, pressure to find someone responsible. Almost immediately, attention turned inward to someone who knew the house, knew the family, had history there. William Balfour, an estranged husband of Jennifer Hudson's sister, Julia. He had been married into the family, but no longer welcome. According to reports, he'd been forced out of the Hudson home months earlier. The relationship had unraveled. Arguments, jealousy, anger. On the day the first 2 bodies were found, Balfour was taken into custody. Not charged yet. Held, questioned, released. Then rearrested on a parole violation. Still, he denied everything. And investigators knew one thing for certain: if Balfour was involved, this wasn't impulsive.
Jennifer Hudson's estranged brother-in-law has been charged with gunning down 3 members of the Oscar winner's family. William Balfour was charged with first-degree murder Tuesday. He had been in custody on a parole violation since the bodies of Hudson's mother and brother were found in late October. The body of Hudson's 7-year-old nephew was found 3 days later in a vehicle. All 3 had been shot to death. Police said the killings appear to be related to a domestic dispute between the suspect and Hudson's older sister.
Well, it was domestic related between him and his former wife, and that's about as far as we can go.
Balfour has maintained his innocence in the slayings, but he has refused to take a lie detector test and has stopped cooperating with detectives. Police say they're confident investigators have built a strong case against Balfour. They also say there's strong physical evidence linking him to the crimes. Officials also credited the Hudson family and the community for helping in the case.
The Hudson family members were also a key partner in this investigation, cooperating with detectives every step of the way under very stressful and painful circumstances. But more than anything, the community stepped up to the plate and help the police solve this case.
Balfour is expected to appear in bond court Wednesday.
As police dug deeper, a chilling pattern surfaced. Threats, repeated threats. According to court records, Balfour had allegedly warned Julia again and again. Not once, not twice, dozens of times. Threats that escalated, threats that became specific. He didn't just threaten her, he threatened her family. Words spoken in anger that now felt terrifyingly real. When the trial finally began, the spotlight was blinding. The defense argued police rushed to judgment. The investigators needed someone, anyone quickly. They pointed to what wasn't found. No DNA on the murder weapon. No fingerprints tying Balfour directly to the SUV. Balfour insisted he wasn't there, that he was nowhere near the house, that this was a setup, and prosecutors told a different story. A story built on timelines, on behavior, on the things people said and did before and after October 24th, including an attempt to create a false alibi.
As a memorial around Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson's childhood home grows, some chilling details are revealed about the suspect in the murders of her family members. Department of Corrections records show William Balfour missed an appointment with his parole officer on Friday, the same day Hudson's mother and brother were shot to death and her nephew went missing. The parole agent says he followed up Friday afternoon on the no-show, and Balfour told him he was babysitting on Chicago's west side. That agent also says he believes he heard a child in the background. Hudson's nephew, Julian King, was found dead in the back seat of an SUV in that part of the city on Monday morning.
I wouldn't, in my wildest dream, would imagine that a crime happened all the way on the south side, end up in front of, across the street from my house. You know, it's devastating.
Authorities won't say how long the boy had been dead, but an autopsy revealed he had been shot multiple times. King's grandmother and uncle were discovered shot to death in the family home Friday morning. Englewood residents say even though they have heard their share of gunshots, they're hoping the Hudson murders will lead to a change in how people react now when they hear them.
If they hear anything like that, I mean, quick, call the police. Because, you know, they could have been saved, or they could have been alive, or the police could have came in time to get them out the house to take them to the hospital.
Balfour, who is Hudson's brother-in-law, was arrested just hours after the shootings. Apparently, that wasn't the first strike on his record since being released from prison in 2006. He was picked up back in June for driving around about $100 worth of crack cocaine. Authorities decided not to send him back to jail on that charge. And in August, Balfour's parole officer was turned away when he tried to do a home visit. The agent reported that suspicious activity may have been going on inside. Ross Simpson.
Then the courtroom heard from the people who knew him best. Jennifer Hudson testified. She didn't speak like a celebrity. She spoke like a sister, a daughter, someone who had watched a relationship deteriorate up close. She told jurors the family never approved of the marriage, that they didn't like how Julia was treated. Julia herself testified next. She described jealousy that crossed into obsession. Jealousy so intense, it extended even to her child, a 7-year-old boy, the same boy who would later be found dead in the back of an SUV. Though DNA was absent, science still had a voice. Gunshot residue was found inside Balfour's vehicle, on the steering wheel, on the ceiling. Experts explained what the absence of DNA didn't mean, that gloves could erase traces, that skin cells don't always transfer. Piece by piece, the puzzle tightened, not through one smoking gun, but through accumulation.
Jennifer Hudson's ascent has been dizzying, her Cinderella story taking her down the red carpet and into the brightest spotlight. But today, she was here, testifying as the first witness for the prosecution in the trial of William Balfour, her former brother-in-law accused of murdering Hudson's mother, brother, and nephew. The high-profile trial attracted a swarm of media. The cameras are not allowed in the courtroom. On the stand, Hudson's voice cracked as she teared up during her almost 50 minutes of testimony. "I slept with my mom until I was 16 years old," she told prosecutors. On Balfour's tumultuous relationship with her sister, she said, "None of us wanted her to marry him." She later testified, "I tried to keep my distance from William." This is the role Hudson never wanted to play. And despite all of the fame, before she was voted off of American Idol,
tonight, the lowest number of votes, Jennifer Hudson.
Before the designer gowns and lucrative diet endorsement,
Weight Watchers, because it works.
She was just Jenny Kate from Inglewood, the most violent 4 square miles in Chicago, a city plagued by violence. And although Hudson will leave this tough part of town, her family remained here in the home where she first learned to sing, now boarded up and decaying, an eerie reminder of the tragedy that cold October day back in 2008. Prosecutors say it was a fit of jealousy that turned deadly. The defense argues that Jennifer's brother was a drug dealer, an occupation that brought danger to his family, and that police wrongfully zeroed in on Balfour because the case involved a celebrity and they needed a suspect. The on-again, off-again relationship between him and Hudson's sister was off, and she had decided to see other people, a decision he would not accept. Jennifer's sister, a bus driver, was working that morning when prosecutors say her ex-husband entered the family home and killed Hudson's mother and Hudson's 29-year-old brother, Jason. When the shots rang out, it was such a common occurrence in the neighborhood, nobody reported it to police.
Unfortunately, it was just a typical day in Inglewood where you hear shots. And I heard them and didn't think too much of it except for, gunshots again.
Hudson's 7-year-old nephew, Julian, was missing. She and her sister waited 2 days as police desperately searched for him.
I just want my son. That's all I have to say. Please just let my baby go.
He was eventually found, dead, in a parked SUV. Hudson has kept most of her anguish private, talking only a few times about the murders, including to Oprah.
How were you able to get through that time?
Well, my family. Ooh, it's a very emotional subject, so.
I know.
My baby. And God.
And God.
With my grandmother, my mother, even my brother. I can hear him saying to me, "Jenny, knock it off." Like right now, my mama be fussing at me. "Why you always crying? Stop crying."
This is one of the reasons Hudson has vowed she will be in the courtroom every day.
I think that by being in the courtroom every single day, Jennifer is trying to say that this is not a crime that will go unpunished. This is not another nameless, faceless crime that occurs in a rough community that nobody pays attention to.
Is this a slam dunk case for prosecutors? There are no slam dunk cases, and this is not a slam dunk case. This will be decided on the testimony of witnesses, which is always a perilous thing.
The juror questionnaire featured several questions aimed at eliminating any bias. With the high-profile case, there's some worry that Hudson's presence in the courtroom could be distracting.
Every move that she makes inside the courtroom will be watched by jurors. They won't all be watching her all of the time. They'll mainly be focused on the witnesses. They'll try and tune her out, but somebody on that jury is going to be looking at everything she does during the trial.
Hudson spoke softly on the stand today. The choice to put her there was a gamble for both sides.
I think jurors are very good at seeing whether people are genuine. So, her relatives were murdered. That's painful for anybody to see. If it is genuine pain that she expresses, it's going to help the prosecution. If the jurors feel that she is overreacting or acting in any way, it will hurt.
An unpredictable challenge for a star cast in a role she never wanted, in a past she could never completely leave behind.
The jury deliberated for 18 hours. They didn't rush. They scrutinized witnesses, built timelines, tested alibis. Their first vote wasn't unanimous, but as facts were re-examined, doubt faded. Eventually, the verdict came, guilty on all counts. At sentencing, William Balfour spoke. He offered condolences, proclaimed love for Julian, and insisted still that he was innocent. The judge didn't hesitate. He described a man without mercy, a soul without light. Balfour received life without parole, not once, 3 times.
Whereas Julian D. King was born in Chicago, Illinois on August 14, 2001.
Jennifer Hudson just couldn't hold back the tears. A mayoral proclamation naming this Julian King Day in Chicago. Julian would have been 11 years old today, but in 2008 he was murdered, along with Jennifer Hudson's mother and brother. William Balfour, ex-husband of Jennifer's sister, was convicted of triple homicide. Jennifer and Julia Hudson were there for every moment of the 13-day trial. And today, the superstar entertainer spoke to me about the trial for the first time.
Why was it so important for you to be there each and every day?
That's very easy to answer. My mother would have been there, so I had to be there every step of the way. Both of us did. Like, she never missed a beat, and to honor them and to do what we were taught to do, what we saw as example growing up, that was the only thing to be done, was to be there. So nothing else mattered. We had to be there.
For the second straight year, through a foundation named for Julian, the Hudson sisters distributed school supplies to needy kids at the Kroc Center in West Pullman to honor Julian's memory.
To have a vision and then to see it manifest and happen, and then to see so much beauty and love come from it, that's our ultimate goal.
Now the sisters want to turn the Inglewood home where their mother, Donnell Donnerson, was murdered into a shelter for single women and children.
We want a transitional house where they come and stay. We help them get on their feet.
Are things beginning to get back to normal for you?
I feel like as though we have like a new beginning, and it's beautiful. You know, we're still blessed, and I mean, we've had our loss, but we're finding our way.
Years later, Balfour continues to deny involvement. He claims conspiracy, claims betrayal, and in a rare interview, he made statements about Julian that left many disturbed. Meanwhile, Jennifer Hudson and her sister chose another path. They honored Julian's name through charity, through giving, through remembrance. Some tragedies never truly end. They just change shape. And for one family, October 24th will always mark the day everything stopped being ordinary and became unimaginable. Alright, y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of the Hudson family murders. You know, singer, actress Jennifer Hudson from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I remember when this happened, man. This was crazy. Hey, man, get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!